Hello and welcome to Foos Entertainment for a return to 2017's Annabelle creation. This is a cinematic review, which means I watched this movie as if I would have gone to my local movie theater and paid for a box office ticket to watch this on the big screen. Alright. This is still today my least favorite Conjuring Universe movie. And I have watched all 7 of them theatrically, no doubt, for this event. This is my least favorite. Really is. Now, I'm going to compare this to another franchise, which I did not do this year. And that's mainly because of the fact that I think that the Resident Evil movies and the Underworld movies strive more towards being science fiction films than they do horror movies. Which means that you would be able to watch them really any month of the year, any season of the year. It doesn't necessarily have to be around Halloween season. But it does have an interesting thing that it does. You have Underworld Rise of the Lycans. Underworld Rise of the Lycans, the entire story of that movie was actually told to you with brilliant execution by Lucien in the first Underworld movie. Because it was very well executed and told to you, there was no need or reason to make Underworld Rise of the Lycans. So it's an unwanted and unneeded movie. You can actually pass that movie up and you'll be fine. That is what I think of this. The entire Annabelle story was told to you when the nurses were talking to the Warrens at the beginning of The Conjuring in 2013, and was told to you again in the based on real life events Annabelle, which definitely takes place after Annabelle creation. It was told to you in that movie. So that's 2 times it was told to you. And of course, a recap to what was told to you in The Conjuring, Annabelle Comes Home. Told you many times. Alright, so if you know the story of the creation of the Annabelle doll, Toymaker, dad, and the wife, and their child that died, and so on, we know the story. If the story's been told to us, and we are familiar with the story, then why do we need a movie showing us the story that we're already familiar with? See my point? And that's just one problem this movie has. People say that The Nun's boring. People say that The Curse of La Llorona is boring. How are those films boring and this film isn't? The first 2.5 acts of this movie, nothing happens. Except for maybe a few little spooks every now and then, but nothing really actually happens until 2.5 acts into the movie. So that means the 2.5 acts of the movie, nothing's really going on, just boring execution. And the other 2.5 acts of the movie is exciting. The Nun and The Curse of La Llorona are far hell more exciting than this movie. The fantasy. The Nun's based on real events. The Curse of La Llorona is based on real mythology. Both of the Conjuring films are based on real facts. Annabelle as well as Annabelle Comes Home, are both based on real facts. This movie isn't based on real facts. This is fantasy. Alright. Well, this is the only movie we're going to do this for, and that's because the original review that I did for Annabelle Creation back in 2018, the mic was not working. You could barely hear me in the review, in the video. So, this is the only one I'm going to do this for when it comes to a Return to video. Let's talk about the plot of the film. The plot of the film is very, very, very simple. Like it was last time I reviewed it, but this time you'll actually be able to hear me. Everything's working perfectly, camera, everything. Alright. After completing a limited edition amount of 100 porcelain dolls to be sold independently, a toy maker, his wife, and their daughter are on their way back home from church when they have a bit of a nudge with a flat tire in their Rolls Royce. So I think they're driving a Rolls Royce. They're told actually it might just be an old Ford truck. But, flat tire. When he's changing this flat tire, their daughter runs in front of a semi-truck of sorts and gets killed. This is in 1951. Alright. Much later, a few years later, in 1958, an orphanage, I guess, a orphanage sends a bunch of girls and a nun to toy maker and his wife's house, which they now use as an orphanage to help underprivileged children. They are told the rules that there's a room we don't go into, you leave the wife alone, you sleep upstairs. Well, what they don't tell them is why these rules are resided. Leave the wife alone, because the wife is disfigured because of losing her eye and having pretty much, obviously, the Annabelle demon tried to possess her. And disfigured her quite well. You don't go into the little girl's room because that's where an Annabelle doll is. Alright. So, our main character, who is a disabled orphan, gets into that room. Comes across the Annabelle doll. The Annabelle takes a liking to her, obviously, with the demon that is a conduit to, which you already know. And of course, the demon is close to possessing her. Her best friend, who's another orphan, is trying to steer her away from it. And the demon eventually does possess her. And this is where, obviously, the woman that this demon attached itself to, that you obviously know, in the next movie, obviously gets possessed and taken over. The demon, of course, before doing this, or at the same time, I kind of forget, obviously killed the toy maker and his wife in diabolical ways. By the end of the movie, they trap it into this blessed room. Obviously, the kid escapes. All is well with everybody, they move on. And then we find out that the kid gets adopted by, of course, the family that our main characters were friends with in the next movie. And of course, the very end of the film shows, of course, the orphan grown up. So maybe it should also be her name on the back of this, so I don't have to call her orphan all the time. No. Alright. But it obviously shows the orphan grown up and about to do the deed of slicing and dicing and slaughtering her parents. Which, of course, happened in the next movie, Annabelle, with our main characters in that movie. That's pretty much the plot. Don't have to review the plot of this movie again. Now you guys can actually hear me. Didn't have to do it in the first place, but I decided this because I'm a nice guy and I want to be able to hear it when I watch it, because I do watch my videos as well. I like watching myself on camera. Lets me see how professional I am and stuff. Alright, quality. The quality is going to be different this time because when I watched this movie the last time, it did not have a Dolby Atmos system. So, this is how Atmos track is supposed to sound, so I'm actually very pleased with that. But let's go on the picture first. This one does have a 1958 look. I really actually like the fact that this film has a 1958 look. Very cool indeed. This one is more. This kind of stays in the warm color temperature. The cinematography doesn't really jump to cool or neutral that much. It kind of just stays in the warm one. But I guess at some points in the film there's kind of neutral stuff in there. But I just see a sense of warm colored scapes in this movie a little bit. It does feel a lot like a 1950s movie in its look and execution. The audio. This Dolby Atmos track is good. It's really good. It's so good, in fact, that at points, the overhead height effects are spooky, which I really, really like. I thought that was some pretty cool execution to do something like that with this movie. So I really did like that. Well, the cinematic experience, which is what this is really all about with this a return to Annabelle creation, isn't it? I will say this. Watching this movie on the big screen with top of the line sound does make it more enjoyable, I would say. Does make it a hell of a lot more enjoyable. It is a better and bigger experience watching this film theatrically than it is watching it on a television. But it's still my least favorite movie in the Conjuring universe, but I definitely did like the way it felt to watch this movie theatrically.